Oh my gosh, you guys, this episode was intense. Secrets are revealed. Murphy's happy ending turns into a nightmare. We are talking all about it on our very special In the Dark After Show starting right now.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
What's up, AfterBuzzers? How's it going? We are back for this epic season finale that we just saw. It was crazy. It was intense. My mind is literally blown right now. I'm still trying to just process everything going on. I am your host, Benny Adams. Thank you guys so much for joining us yet again so we can tell you all about this amazing show. This is why it's coming back for season 2.
Such great writing.
This is exactly why. But before we get all into it, I want to introduce you to my amazing host, starting off with this lovely lady. She knows every single drama television show that there is. This is why she's on this show, Miss Bethany.
What's up, guys? Bethany Jean.
This one right here, Miss Carla, knows everything as well when it comes to drama television. She is the encyclopedia of drama, what I like to say.
Can't wait to get into it. It's so much.
And Missy, she's done some shows in the past on AfterBuzz on some drama, so this is why she's on this show as well.
Hey, guys.
You guys, before we get into that, let me tease to the viewers and listeners what we're going to be talking about. We're going to have our special segment, and then we have some very interesting news and gossip where a special someone, I'm not going to say who, but someone from the cast, he gives us a little taste of maybe what to expect or what he would like to expect season 2 to be. So stay tuned for that. But what did you guys think of the episode overall?
I am so mad that I was right. I've never been so mad to be right in my life. I love being right, but no, not today.
Yeah. You were so bummed.
Yes. Yes.
Down.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to say
Dean going down.
Dean is a psychopath, and mine is blown completely.
Yeah. I'm no longer Team Dean.
Thank God.
We've been trying to tell
Anymore.
you this. We've been trying to switch you over
no
to
longer
our
Team
side.
Dean.
The Dean dream is over.
Yeah, it was just so many emotions going into me because at one point I was like, okay, I understand why he's working with her, but then when it got to the nitty gritty and like why he did what he did, I was like, there's no way I can stand behind him. So it was
classic case of doing the wrong thing for the right reason.
Yeah.
Yes.
100%.
So let's get right into it. Let's start talking about Murphy and Dean. Murphy is on cloud 9. She has found, I don't want to say the love of her life, but she's found someone that she hasn't really found before. This has made her a completely different Murphy. And I don't know if you guys have realized it, but her whole appearance was just so, she usually looks very grungy and like dark clothes. Her makeup was very light. She looked very, very happy.
Very smiley.
Yeah,
like
very
more
smiley.
Smiles than we'd ever seen.
Right. And then like just what did you think about this Murphy that you saw?
It was different, but I thought she was very spot on when she's like, oh, we're two very messed up people, right? Because even though she's trying to become better, she's still attracting this kind of person, and she still chose to sleep with him.
Oh, God.
Like, even though she's changed, she has so much more to do, and a lot of her choices leading up to the way she confronted Dean is a perfect example of that, in my opinion.
Oh, well, I think she should. Well, I understood why she slept with Dean because she got what she wanted out of him. I think she kind of already knew like something was up with him just before they like had the weekend together. But
Yeah.
I just felt like her emotions, I feel like she doesn't know what she wants because she's happy with Max, then she's happy with Dean. So it's kind of like conflicting. Like she thinks she's happy, but I truly think she's really not. So, and then it's just how it all transpired in this episode was just mind-blowing. And I feel like she needs to find happiness within, not from guys.
I think Murphy.
Solid advice, miss.
For anyone listening.
I think Murphy. One, I think she moved on too fast. Even before she found out about DaIn, I think she moved on way too fast with Max. But the reason why I think she did that is she saw a place where she can finally be happy. This guy can give her happiness, and she's been in the darkness for so long. I think DaIn was that light for her.
But you also have to remember he's a psychopath. So like those are also like manipulations he was doing to her. The charming,
right.
all like, oh my gosh, I like you. They're all like shallow. So like she was feeding into that. She was believing him. And so now she sees a true DaIn, which is the crazy DaIn, which that's who he is. So.
And speaking of crazy DaIn, we saw a completely different character this episode. He was nervous. He was frantic. You know, he was trying to just get Murphy like away from everyone so she wouldn't find out. What did you guys think about that big reveal when we find out that DaIn is the person behind all this?
Well, we had a week to stew on it because of last week's little teaser.
I was not surprised. I expected this. This is exactly what I thought would happen. And it was validating, yet disappointing.
Right.
Because you want him to be her happily ever after. And then it sucks to know that, like, he's the worst. I mean, not the worst type of person, but, you know, pretty much there. And just the things he's willing to do for money. Like, honestly, there's different ways to go about getting money.
Yeah.
That don't include killing someone.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was another one of my questions. Is DaIn justified for what he did because he's trying to save his daughter? Is that justifiable?
Well, what do you mean? Killing people or just
Not
being
obviously
involved
not
in dirty?
Obviously not killing people, but yeah, being involved in the dirty business.
Maybe to like a certain degree, you know, he was trying to do the right thing by saving Chloe, but at the same sense, like he is a cop, he knows from right and wrong, but at the end of the day, he knew what he was doing. He knew what he was doing as hurting people along the way, and especially Tyson. Like he knew that was wrong, and especially the business that he was in working with Nia. So
And he killed him twice.
yeah, well,
Not just once.
Yeah,
Like twice.
well, the first time he was like unconscious, and then he actually
Right.
killed him.
But he thought he killed him once, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And then he started moving, and he was like, "Oh crap!" And he shot him.
Yes.
That was pretty jarring because he definitely had that kind of psychopath thing where it was like moments of rage, and then he didn't realize what he'd done. Like I don't think he meant to actually kill him. He was kind of like in a rage, and then, you know, he covers him up, puts him in the trunk, and he's just freaking out at what he just done. And then he
Jeez.
realizes he's alive, and he kills him again.
But you know what's so crazy? Because the first time Murphy felt him in the alley, and she said he was warm, but he smelled weird. And then she felt him again, and she said he felt different. Do you think he like took Tyson out of his trunk and put him back in the alley?
No.
Well,
Or, no, go ahead.
yes, because he wasn't dead yet.
Yeah. No, the second time.
Well, I think when she felt him the first time, he was still warm because he wasn't dead. The
Yeah.
second time, he had been shot.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. He must have taken him out again and put him in the
And
alley.
put it back. Well,
Yeah.
Well, he was just laying there, and she walked up, and he was trying to cover. He was looking through a trash can to see what he can get to cover him up.
Right.
So I just think he was laying there. Period.
No, I'm just saying from previous episodes when
Yeah.
she went up to him
Oh.
again, he felt different. Like he
Yeah.
felt like a different body. That's what I was saying.
Yeah,
they didn't
that's
really-
confusing.
They didn't really talk about that.
We'll have to see.
Also, very peculiar that he just like threw the gun under the dumpster.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah, that wasn't
his
very
gun
smart.
Would be traced.
But that's
I
how
mean,
Wesley found it, from under the dumpster. That's so crazy.
Yeah.
Man.
And they didn't run
That's
tests on that. That's confusing. Actually, I just thought about that too.
Well, I thought the gun matched Wesley's gun. So that's
so
really
they just
confusing.
didn't look. They just didn't look further past that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like fingerprints.
I, mean, I guess they weren't looking for dirty
Yeah.
cops killing
Exactly.
15-year-olds or however old he is. But
Well, what really upset me was the part where we see it was a flashback, and Murphy is in the alley, and she finds Tyson, and DaIn sees her, and so I'm thinking, how could you try and start a relationship with this woman, and you know what she's going through, you know she knows this kid who you just killed. And so, like, what did you think about all that? Like, how DaIn could still try and start a relationship with her knowing all this?
Yeah, it was interesting how quickly he picked up on her being blind, too, because he has a blind daughter. Were you guys thinking that, too?
Yeah.
Like, he immediately was like, that girl's blind, and he just, like, hid behind a ladder, kind of.
Yeah, but again, that brings back to my main point. He's a psychopath.
Yeah.
So
He
he
is.
knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
He is.
So.
Is it weird that I don't think he's a psychopath?
Really?
Yeah, I don't feel that way.
By the way, I was just throwing that term around, too. I don't know that he's a psychopath, but he definitely had those behaviorals of, like, going into
He
fits
has,
of
like,
rage.
the symptoms of it. Yeah.
Like, he was, like, violently beating her up in the car when she was, like, attacking. Like, there was definitely things where were
He has
like
characteristics
that.
of it.
Yeah.
In my mind, he just went in survival mode.
Right.
Not that it was right, but I think he went in survival mode. Because at the end of the day, I don't think he's a bad person. I just think he's trying to survive.
And speaking of survival mode, Murphy, big props to her for when she finally figures it all out, she keeps it cool like no other. When they're in the cabin, you know, they start making love, or what he likes to call it, making love.
That was it, making love.
It was so intense, and you have to remember she's blind going through all of this. So I can only imagine what she's going through. But, you know, we find out that she recorded him confessing. He finds out. Fast forward to they're in the car. This was the most intense scene I've seen in this show yet. They're in the car. They're driving. All of a sudden, Murphy starts attacking him, and the car is swerving like left and right. A truck almost hits him, and then the car spins out of control, goes off a bridge, turns upside down, falls off the bridge, and goes upside down. It was crazy. That scene. How are you guys feeling after that scene?
I knew she was going to be alive and he would be in critical condition. Is that what you guys were thinking too?
I thought they were both dead. Like, I don't know why I thought that. Like, I just was
there's
like,
a second season.
well, yeah, no, but
so
like
that
my,
alone is like she's going to.
but like my initial reaction, I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Well, they landed on the top, so yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people make it through that.
That's what I was
overpass.
thinking. I was like, oh my gosh.
I knew Murphy was going to survive, but I thought DaIn would die.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
definitely thought DaIn would die.
But they never like what happened with him in the hospital. Like he was like
Seemed
had
like he was in a
bandages
coma.
In a coma.
Looked like
Okay.
a coma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel so bad for Chloe.
Yeah, we have
Keep thinking
to
I feel so bad for
save
Chloe.
that for predictions. What's going to happen with Chloe? All right,
That's
so
what my prediction's about.
before we move on, we have a little special announcement for you guys.
We do have a special announcement. We just want to say thank you for making us the ESPN of TV Talk. For us to continue to grow, we need your help. So make sure to subscribe on YouTube, give us a rating on iTunes, and leave us a comment. Make sure you guys jump in that live chat. We're on right now, and say your comments, say whatever you want about In the Dark. And I'm actually so happy. Like, I'm not happy, but sad that this is our last show. But
No, I don't want it to
Yeah.
end.
It's so bittersweet.
It
you know?
is.
No, actually, it's just bitter because I don't want the show to end.
It
That's
feels
why I
like
keep it
New
going.
Year's Eve or something. Like we should have been popping bubbly or something.
Right,
like
right.
here's to next season.
Yeah, but make sure you guys support us and AfterBuzz.
Right. All right, so let's move on to Jules and DaIn. Jules, she was someone else who I loved in this episode.
By the way, we should probably explain, because we do have the visually impaired community that follows along with us, what happened to Jules.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, yes.
definitely. Definitely.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys know this, but Jules, it was super dextery. Jules was basically sedated and like trank needle injection in her head in her house after it got to Nia that she was onto them, or onto her specifically. So we have no idea what's become of Jules. She might be dead. She might be comatose. She might
Right.
be in some sort of like memory amnesia scenario.
Yeah, like, what did
making
she give
forget.
her, that
We
shot?
don't know. We don't
Like, was
know.
it like a tranquilizer? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, and then it was just a random one of Nia's people that I don't think we've seen before. It was a female.
Yeah.
I think it was just one of her random hitmen.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
a female though, right?
Yeah, it was.
It was?
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, hit woman
Yeah.
then.
And she was wearing gloves and like a hairnet. Like she was a pro.
Yeah, for
And then
sure.
she petted pet her cat.
That was so disgusting.
Like the cat was right there. I don't know. That was really weird to me. It's really eerie.
Yeah, that was very crazy. But a little bit before that, Jules was on to DaIn, and she wanted to figure out. She wanted to get to the bottom of what's happening because her man is getting framed, and she knows he's getting framed. How do you think Jules handled the situation with DaIn? Was she smart about it, or should she have gone a different route?
Well, she had no way of knowing it was him when she told him, I think there's someone dirty.
I think she would. She had a feeling. Yeah,
she did.
From the moment she said it, she noticed the way he reacted.
Yes.
He instantaneously changed. And I think even as she was questioning Chloe, like, why would he decide to question her daughter? Like, you wouldn't otherwise. Yeah. So she was onto him. I think she did what she had to do, and she handled it as best as she could have. That she thought someone was going to come and stick a needle in her. Absolutely not,
Yeah. Right.
I think it was just, everything happened the way it was supposed to with her.
But she didn't catch on to those clues until she was actively talking to him
well,
about
when she was
it.
talking to DaIn, his body language changed completely. And then he started stuttering and, like, kind of feeling like his voice got higher. And, like, when people, like, lie or they're trying to cover up something, they change how they usually talk and, like, body language. So, like, that's when she was like, oh, and she's a cop, so she must know all the handy tricks.
That first moment when they walk outside to talk, that's when I knew she had a feeling after that conversation. There was something up there. So that was so crazy to me. I think that she handled it well, and this just proves my case. Jules will bend over backwards for Darnell.
Yes.
She has, I don't know if she's dead, alive, I don't know what happened to her, but she put her life in jeopardy for him. And that has to raise the question, would Darnell do the same thing for Jules if the roles were switched? Do you guys think he would do?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
I feel like he would definitely put his life at risk to protect Jules.
I think they're ride or die for each other. Especially, like, when she would go visit him, he'd be like, you shouldn't be here. And just back and forth. I think he might have been a little more sloppy, like, in wanting to go out on dates and doing certain things that they shouldn't have done. But there's love there, you can tell.
Yeah.
I don't know what we're showing from the interview last night, but we talked to Keston about the relationship between Jules and Darnell. He pointed out something that I haven't given that much thought to, which is they're the only real, legitimate, like, solid romantic relationship we've seen. So far, everything else has just been, like, hooking up and, like, dating periods. I mean, Max and Murphy were
That's very true.
thing, but I thought that was really interesting and poignant. Like, they've been in love since they were 14. That's a long time, to be connected with a person like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Can't blame either of them for...
They were kind of like the only true stable relationship. I mean, I guess Max and Murphy, but then,
But even that was a span of a few months or whatever.
Yeah.
Not, like, decades.
True.
So we have Lauren Rodriguez in our live chat, and she's very active.
What's up, Lauren?
Hey, Lauren.
She made a very good point. She said there's also a change in heart rhythm when the person lies, their heartbeat changes.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's so true.
Murphy picked up on that. You know?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were so many clues that Murphy picked up on. The cigar smell, the
matches,
matches,
and
which we all called.
Matches,
yeah, that was.
We knew there was something about the matches.
Right. Yeah, so I'm really pulling for Jules. The actor who plays her is amazing, and it's so funny. When Jules was first introduced, I really didn't care for her that much, and now to see her take on, or to see her role get this big, I'm very interested in seeing what's gonna happen.
Her role
next
really
with her.
has snowballed. Because when she first came in, we were just like, oh, DaIn's partner.
Yeah.
But like, wow, Darnell's lover. Like, so many things.
I just hope that's not the end for her. Because
Me
I
too.
got worried when she was, like, checking her pulse to see if, like, at that point, if you're checking the pulse, it's if you're alive or dead. So I'm like,
Right.
I mean, it's kind of scary to think if she's dead, because if that's the case, she's the only one that is on to DaIn.
Right.
Well, Murphy, too.
Yeah.
Murphy, but as far as, like, in the police force, and Darnell could just rot. She would have been his ticket to really fighting to get him out.
Exactly.
Right.
Because now Murphy, ideally, is going to work for Nia, and she can't rat out her own boss, because that's not going to end well, obviously.
Right. Let's move on to Jess and Felix. So we found out that Felix, his mom cut him off, which means their company or his company that he works for, Guiding Hope, is going to shut down. Jess has an idea where she says Max has money hiding out in his van. They find it, and they find it, and you think that things are going to turn for the better, but they turn for the worst. And Nia finds out they have it, and they have to end up working for Nia. What did you guys think about that whole scenario?
That was a plot twist.
I knew it was too good to be true that she was letting them have the money. I was like, there's no way. Why would you just give someone that much money? So when it all got revealed, I was like, okay, it all makes sense now.
Right.
Man, she's cold.
Man, she like does stuff like kind of what you said. Like it was too good to be true for them to keep their like 100,000, but at the same time it was just like I truly thought like, wow, she's such a nice person. She really turned around.
She's a real sweetheart.
Yeah, and then she did that to Murphy. I was like, oh my gosh, why are you doing this?
She's got him in a corner too.
Yeah,
Nia is that character that I love to hate.
Exactly.
Yes,
yeah.
totally.
She's so good,
Like
and I'm like, I can't stand you, but I can't stop watching it.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's just too smart for her own good. Like the fact that you know to play your cards that well ahead of time is just insane. She had the hitman there ready to just take the money or take them out, and she's just like, no, let them have it.
I'm dying to know what the hitman said or did or anything with Jess and Felix. Like, did he talk to them?
probably not. But my thing is,
Because
like,
you see him walking near them.
yeah, but that's
like
what
a
he called
shot.
Nia, was like they found it and they were going all crazy. But my thing is, like, if you're finding drug money, why would you be that loud and like crazy? Because that money is hot. Everyone's gonna be looking for it. Wouldn't you want to be like secretive?
I'm
Like,
sure they just thought they're out in the middle of nowhere.
They're naive.
Like,
Yeah, that's
exactly.
true.
They are
Yeah,
very
they're not
naive
pros
about
either.
that.
yeah, so I was like, okay.
It's Felix.
Right, it's Felix. But you know what's funny though? Because I keep on saying I want to see Felix get more into the drama with them. This is kind of a prediction, but this
he's
is
in
how
it
he's going
now.
to get into the
He's in
drama.
it now.
And they never explained that watch. Remember?
I know. I
They
was gonna mention
didn't.
that.
That's so true.
Yeah.
You know,
But Felix has it.
Yeah, so maybe they'll tie that into season 2.
Yeah, I'm wondering. Also, are you guys shocked they didn't peek into Max's van
I know. That was bizarre.
when they came across it?
Where's Max is the question.
Right.
I
he
know.
wasn't even in. He wasn't in the last 2 episodes.
No, we
Like
don't know if
3.
he's alive or dead.
Right.
Like, that hitman could have killed him.
Yeah, I'm really curious about that. I really hope he comes back for a second season.
I suspect he will.
Oh yeah, he
That's-
definitely will.
I think he will. I think he'll rear his
Yeah,
head.
he'll like pop up out of nowhere like, hey
Yeah.
guys.
Like, 3rd episode, we're going to see Max.
Hey Murphy, you can be in love with me now.
Yeah. I'm back.
All right, let's move on to our special segment. And tonight we're doing things a little bit differently. Usually we have our in the dark moments. Or actually, no, we are doing our in the dark moments for this special segment. So go ahead. Let us know what your in the dark moments are, Bethany.
Mine, I had quite a few, but I would say mine is when Murphy tells Dean, you know, I've rehearsed so many times all the mean, awful things I would say to his killer if I could confront him, but instead I'm just going to tell you what a good person he was. Oh, that was a little moment.
Mine's
nice.
a little, I feel like mine's a little odd, but I'm gonna say it anyways. I feel like mine was when she was like, I like it like that. Turns
Ew.
around.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Turns around, then you see a close up of her face, and there's a tear coming out of her eye, and it's just like, okay, you're
Like a
doing.
sacrificial.
Yeah, it literally was just like. I don't know. I felt so bad. I feel like it was literally almost like rape. I mean, she was
Yeah.
totally okay with it, but it was like you said, like her sacrificing
agree.
herself
She took one for the team.
to
Yeah.
find the truth, and it was just, I felt so bad for
It
her.
felt a little like prostitute-y to watch.
Exactly.
Like she was in it for something.
Yeah,
Which
for
is just
sure.
hard to watch.
Yeah, it was
It was
very.
just very awkward, that
Yeah.
whole scene.
I also, not to interrupt, but when he was talking about how when Tyson was talking about how he wants to be like that, he wants to influence people. No
The
one knows where they're
flashback?
going.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was
really
sweet.
touching
Yeah,
too.
that
What about you, Missy?
I like the part where they were sitting in the bed and she like put all the puzzle pieces together and figured out that DaIn did it. Like that was definitely like a moment where I was like, wow, she finally solved the case that she's been wanting to solve, but now she has to, well, she doesn't want to break up with him, but now she has to like, well, the smart thing would do is to leave DaIn, but she doesn't want to. But that whole scene to me was like, you know, so it spoke volumes to me, but I think she should have just handled it in a different way, because why would you tell like a murderer like you did this, because then now they're just going to come after you. But that's my thing.
Mine was the same as you, Bethany, when Tyson was talking to Murphy. I think that Murphy, she saw something in Tyson that she wanted in herself, and I think that's why they had such a close bond together. So sad.
They really were yin and yang.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, let's head on to our news and gossip. I was waiting for the little thing. There we go.
Cute.
All right, so me and Bethany had the pleasure of talking to a very special guy.
Yeah, the incredible Keston John. He was
Yes,
awesome.
he
we
was.
loved him. Come back anytime, Keston. You're a good time.
So we talked a little bit about season 2. Here's what he got to say about season 2. Predictions.
Yes.
Do you know anything that I know you can't give us what's happening for season 2, but can you give us a little teaser of what to expect for season 2?
Oh man, if I give away anything that I know, it kind of ruins your finale, which is gonna be a doozy. That's
can't
all
wait.
I could say. That's all I could say.
more sense,
You know what? My season 2 predictions is that I think for Murphy, I think she's just gonna keep going on this train of obsession that she's on right now. You know, Brooke's character, I'm blanking on Jess has said it in another episode. You're addicted, and I think that addiction is going to continue in another light. In another light. So it won't be about Tyson anymore, but it'll be about, you know, like fixing it, or fixing her world, whatever that is. I think that's yeah.
We always wonder if she's...
He gave us the tea.
Wow, I
he
love that.
definitely gave us the tea, right?
Yeah.
So much tea.
It makes more sense now. Because
Yes, it does.
Now, yeah.
Yeah, so I definitely can't wait, and I hope they do go that route, because this is, like I said, like I've kept on saying this show is groundbreaking
It
for
really is.
the CW.
Yeah.
And it's
really just in television. Like,
true, yeah.
I think the aspect of us, you know, because I wrote the show.
We're a part of it now.
We
We
are.
feel very invested.
We want a paycheck.
Just them making a show that's shedding this much light on the social awareness of the visually impaired community, and I hope it encourages more show writers to kind of
Think outside the box.
Yeah, think outside the box for all these different communities. I mean, there's also the deaf community. I mean, there's
So many.
Yeah. I think
Writers,
it's really cool in that
directors, take note. This is why the show was renewed so early for season 2. Let's get over to our our favorite part of this after show, predictions.
Oh my god.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
What do we think is going to happen for season 2?
I have a prediction.
What do you
about
think,
you
Bethany?
guys? I'm like chomping at the bit to get it out. I think Dean's gonna die.
Ooh.
And I think Murphy is going to raise her, and I think the money laundering from Guiding Hope is what's going to help her actually get Chloe's surgery.
I think Dean will survive. I think it's gonna put him away. I think he might be a vessel to try to get to Nia in regards to getting her arrested or finding out exactly what illegal activity she's involved in. And I don't really know what's going to happen to Chloe, but I truly hope she ends up with Murphy. That's the best role model she can possibly ask for at this point.
And by the way, when I say die, I guess I just mean not come back. Like, he could just be in a coma for a long minute.
What about you, Missy?
I think Dean could possibly you know how the show is called In the Dark? Maybe he's just in the dark for a while, like a coma or something.
It is really dark in a coma.
Yeah. Okay, so, and then...
on several levels.
that sounded so bad, but it's like I didn't mean it like that. Or just, yeah, I don't know. I just hope Dean, maybe if he does wake up, he kind of just tries to become a better person. I would love to see that and try to make right by what he was doing with like Murphy and everyone else. And, you know, maybe he will explain Chloe why he did the things he did, because that would be...
That's the thing, too, I was thinking about, is I just keep thinking, if he doesn't come out of it, Murphy is essentially faced with having to tell Chloe what her dad really did. And I just don't see her doing it. I feel like she would protect her and not tell her.
I agree with you 100%.
Yeah,
You can't break a child's heart like that.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Yeah, completely.
Plus, there could be guilt that would go along with it when she finds out, well, he got into this for money for my surgery. Like, you know, because kids... People blame themselves, but children particularly.
I don't think Dean is going to die. I think he's going to survive. And I think he is going to be a focal point in next season. I think next season is going to be a season of him, like you said, Missy, trying to do right by others. Because what he did, you know, you can't take... He took someone's life, you know, and you can't take that back. So it's going to be very interesting. I predict we're going to see Max again, and Max is going to help Murphy try and get out of this new business that she's in. Or he might be helping her since he knows the ropes. You never know. And I have a feeling that there's going to be another love interest for Murphy, and there's going to be like this love triangle with Murphy, Max, and whoever this new guy would be. Because they always do it like that. It's never just that easy for someone to get together.
As long as it's not Dean, I don't care who it is. It could be anyone.
So
it can never be Dean again. I can't see that.
Here's what I want to know. Do you guys think Jules is going to survive?
No.
No? What do you vote, Miss?
I don't know. She could like probably... I don't know. That's a hard one because I don't want her to die because she's such a great character.
I think whatever happened to her, because I'm on the fence also. I can see her dying, and I can see that creating a huge storyline for Darnell. And then I can also see her surviving, but not being the same Jules that we know. Yeah. And that could be also a huge storyline for Darnell. And this could be Darnell's turn to bend over backwards for Jules.
Maybe having like brain trauma and not being able to like actually help in the case.
Right. But we have to see. I can't believe the season is over, guys.
I'm legitimately sad.
Happy tears.
Sad tears.
But so excited for next season.
Exactly. Yeah. So excited for next season. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and listening to us and watching us. We've had an amazing time talking to you about this great show. I'm your host, Benny Adams. You can find me on all social media at Benny J. Adams.
I'm Bethany Jean. You can find me on IG at Bethany Jean Official, and that's Bethany with an IE.
And I'm Carla Contreras, and you can find me on Instagram at Carla L. Contreras and Twitter at Carla_C.
Hey, I'm Missy Vernier. You can follow me on all social media platforms at Missy Vernier.
Stay tuned for season 2.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.